everybody. My name is Alyssa Cooper, and this is Cooking in Quarantine. This is episode 126. I'd like to say to all of you, thank you for bearing with me through last week and the last couple of weeks when I've been inconsistent. A friend of mine passed. My father had a stroke. It was my birthday. I just couldn't. I just didn't have the bandwidth to do that, to do this show. And in reality, the whole point of my doing this show is to be hopeful and upbeat and to help you guys cope. So when I'm not coping well, I'm not doing my job for you. So we're back, and we've got some exciting things to talk about today. I think first of all is that, thank the Lord, my dad is somehow, if you know my father, only my dad could have a stroke and be better than he was before. So he has a problem in his back where, you know, if any of you have spinal problems, you know that the shooting pains down your legs can just be awful. So my dad's been walking with a limp for all these years, but now the stroke has caused him to no longer have feeling in the places where he felt the pain, and so now he actually is walking without a limp. Only my dad could have a stroke and be better off than he was before. So there you go. So that ameliorates my stress a lot, especially since not going home for Christmas and not seeing them. Only saw my parents once this year. That's very strange, so it's hard kind of to deal with, but we're not going to be grumpy or sad about it because Dr. Fudgie took the Moderna vaccine today. On other fronts, my doctor doesn't want me taking a leave anymore. Now, I take a couple of leave almost every day because, you know, I have all this pain in my lower body. So he gave me a little drug called gabapentin. And I took my first one last night. And first of all, I slept 9 hours. That is unheard of. I never sleep 9 hours, but I slept 9 hours. And I got up and I felt really good. But the great thing is that it ameliorates your nerve pain. So when the nerve pain is gone, you can feel where the stress is from how you, like I said, my dad walks with a limp because of nerve pain. So those of us who have nerve pain do all kinds of weird compensatory things to get over the pain. So anyway, it's been great. So I'm feeling very upbeat today. And today, Christmas baking begins. Now, I realize that maybe you can't really see. Do I have to go back more? Let's see what happens if I go back more. Da, 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 da. Then you can see lots of things. So why don't I just bend this camera down a little bit more? Hello, Kelly. Hello. So as you see, I have behind me these two things hanging. I wish everything wasn't backwards. I look forward to the day when I become popular enough that I don't have to be backwards. Well, now I can't see the top of my head. I'm not very good at this, am I? Let's try this one more time. See, when I take a week off, then I screw everything up. Pardon my French. All right, so today I'm going to make what is the absolute simplest bar you could ever possibly make. Now, if I had been able to get already crumbed graham crackers, this would be even simpler. But that said, we're going to make some graham cracker crumbs, and I have over here just a few ingredients. Butterscotch chips. I have half dark chocolate chips, like 85% cacao, and semi-sweet chips. And I have walnuts. I have roughly 4 cups of each. And I'm going to make the same of my graham crackers. So I'm just going to throw them in. Hello, Connie Howerton. How are you? How's life in Stanford? I hope you're staying safe. I understand it's a flat-out hot zone where you live, and I hope you are staying safe. And let's see. Kelly, did you see that both Warnock and Ossoff are leading? And Kelly Loeffler's plot to pose with all those Klansmen seems to be failing her because she's currently 7 points behind. Couldn't be happier to hear it. Couldn't happen to a less likable woman. So anyway, here we go. I am going to give this first batch a pulse. And it's funny, since I only, oh dear Lord, I've done it again. I've put them all in there with no blade because I'm afraid of the blades, and I keep them in their little plastic containers and such. See, you guys watch me. I know you come here to laugh at me and watch me fail, but that's part of my charm, you know, is that I screw stuff up and I do it anyway. You know, there are those t-shirts, I know stuff, I drink and I know stuff. I'm one of those people. I screw things up, but I still know stuff. So that's my saving grace. So here we go. Back in there, all good, shoved in. And then here's my top. And I think this is one of those days when you definitely, are you not on straight? No, you're on straight. Come on, baby, you can do it. You can do it. Why do you not want to go in? Here we go. Almost. Something is not all the way down, I guess. Maybe it's you. It's you, it's you, it's you. All right, let's try this. There we go. It worked. I'm going to pulse. Oh, I have to plug it in too. See, guys, what's going on with me? I thought I was really going to make a better showing of things today, but voila. Pulse. This is going to be able to go on top. Why did you stop? Oh, because here we go. Looking good. Still some big pieces in there, so I'm going to stop it and give them a piece of my mind. Let's give these big pieces some breaking up so that they will bend to my will a little more quickly. You know, it's funny, I'm using my fancy Cuisinart because I love my fancy Cuisinart, but in reality, you know, the best way is to make these guys, literally, put them in a gallon Ziploc bag, suck the air out, zip it closed, and roll over it with your rolling pin. I would have already been done, and I would not have anything to clean up. But what you're going to do, here we go. I swear, I'm never doing this again. It's definitely better with the rolling pin and the plastic bag. It's just that I don't have any gallon plastic bag because I'm trying not to use plastic anymore. They're almost there. There's a couple of big, gnarly pieces that just refuse to bend to my will. So I'm going to pull them out. And I'm going to check and see that all the rest of them are that all the rest of it's pretty smooth. There's still a couple of pieces in here that don't want to do my deal. So we'll just pull those biggest ones out. And then when we empty this, so I think maybe the moral of this story is only one package at a time. 2 is too many for my 8-cup elemental. Here we go. So let's see how much we've got here. Okay. That's right at 2 cups. Yeah. So we'll do that again. So let's see if my theory is right, and it will work better if I do it one at a time. Oh, wait a minute. Here's the ones I'm supposed to be using. Here we go. And we'll give this a clip. So anyway, these little guys behind me, it's funny, I spent the last week, because when I get freaked out by things, I tidy and sort and throw things away. And so I went through an enormous number of things, and I found one thing that was hilarious that I had cut out to save, and it's an image that says, and I'll share it because I put it together for next year, to put this thing in a mason jar, a big mason jar, and every week write down on a slip of paper something cool that happened to you, or something fun that happened to you that week. And then on New Year's Eve, you can go back and open up the jar and see all the things that were awesome for your year. Well, there was less awesome things this year than on average, so I'm ready to do it for next year. So that might be a fun thing for everybody to do, is make a little list of things that would be fun to accomplish, or things that were great for you this year. So that was one thing I found, which as I was going through pages of stuff. Where do you think? Oh, it is already in. Oh yeah, that works a whole lot better. Silly me. But see, I'm learning. Even though I'm getting older, I still can learn. So there we go. I've learned a lesson today. And let's give that a tap, and we'll put this right in here, and lo and behold, we are looking great. And I'm not sure we're going to need we are so close to 4 cups here that I think we're done. So here we go. I'm going to take this off and get these last few little bits out of here. And I think that's going to take us to the edge. Perfect. So I'm going to take this little guy and set him aside. There's always too many things in my kitchen, so I need to just give things away. It's time to start giving stuff away, I think. So if anybody wants anything other than my Cuisinart, let me know. All right, so now I have no idea if my mixing bowl is big enough for what I'm about to do, so I'm going to do it in batches. Hello, Denise. How are you? So here we go. Here, so let's do this. Let's do this a bit at a time, just to make sure that I don't run out of room in my bowl. Is that right? Yeah, that's right about right. Okay. So I've got in here 2 cups of graham cracker crumbs. I'm going to put in half of these beautiful butterscotch chips. If you don't like butterscotch, use whatever you want. This is so forgiving. You could do chocolate and peppermint chips, or chocolate and white chocolate chips, or peanut butter chips, or whatever you want. Or you could do this all with nuts. There's nothing that you can't do anything to go wrong with this. I just don't think you can. And you're going to understand in a couple of minutes when I show you what I'm going to use to bind it with. What's going to be my sticky. So I want to make sure I get hands full of both sweet and bittersweet, and try to get all about the same, so I'm about equal here. Now what I didn't do was I haven't chopped up my nuts at all. That one seems a little wonky. I don't like the looks of him. There we go. Now you can use pecans here if you prefer. I'm sure if you wanted to use almonds, that would be okay. But the key to this recipe is the graham cracker crumbs. And now, for those of you who are in the South, I apologize because I could not find my normal binder, which I prefer, which is Eagle brand milk, so I got the Magnolia. So really, it's graham cracker crumbs and Eagle brand milk, and any kind of stuff, crunchy, yummy, melty, gooey stuff that you could possibly want in it. So I'm just going to run my knife through this so that my big pieces of nut aren't too big. Beautiful. Now, these are a thing. There is something you need to know about these, and that is that because they are so gooey, you definitely want to get your bench scrape or a sharp, big knife. And when they come out of the oven, you want to score them while they're still warm and then let them cool. It makes it 1,000 times easier to get a clean cut on them. Because after they cool, they don't harden up, but they just are, you'll just find it's 1,000 times easier to cut them evenly and all that. The other thing is that they are dense, they are rich, and so you don't want to cut them like a brownie. You want to cut them like a 2-bite brownie because that's about all even a grown man can eat of these. So I'm going to put all of this in here. Nut and dust. Here we go. Okay. I'm going to do this in jelly roll pans because, again, they're so dense that you don't need them to be thick and you don't need them to be big. So pressing into these pans, I'm going to need to remember to butter. Although, Kelly, can I put parchment on these and press these onto parchment? You answer that question here in the next few minutes for me. That sure would be easier for me to do. Here we go. And we're going to open this can up. Oh, somebody told me I should wash the tops of my cans more frequently, so let me wash the top of my can. Hello, Jules. How are you? Oh, Kelly had to return. Kelly got the same food processor that I have. She had to return it because it's too small. Did you get the 11 cup then? Here we go. And bada bing. So my Christmas baking is I bake most of my stuff for my doormen. You know, I've got a pretty big group of people who work in my building, and so I just don't really feel like I can give them any kind of cash that's truly meaningful. I mean, you know, if you've got 8 or 10 people, right, you can't really go around giving hundreds of dollars to each. But over the years, I guess because my stuff's better than everybody else's, they all look forward to this every year. So I always bake for my guys, and I give them a bottle of wine, right, or 2, and say, you know, so now they've got, not all of them are big drinkers, and so now you've got a couple of bottles to put on your Christmas table, and that's what I do. And I'm there with them on their holiday. So now I really can't ever remember from year to year if this is, I think it's 2 cups of everything to 1 can, but we'll see soon when I mix this all together if I'm right or wrong. I don't think this gets a 2nd can. Let's see. Yeah, now so it really takes a lot of working to get it all mixed together, because this all easily sticks to the nuts and the chocolate and the chips. But it's harder to blend into your graham cracker crumbs. So just keep working it, right? Until I kind of turn it up so that each turn comes up and turns those crumbs up a little bit. And sometimes I'll open a 2nd can just to make sure that it's nice and wet. Because of course I did this, you know, by grabbing it out of the thing with my hands. So who knows? Let's see how this is doing. This is kind of like with the buttermilk in your biscuits. Some days you need an extra couple tablespoons and some days you don't. And so we'll just see what we got working here. This is starting to come together really nicely. Nicely. Yep, this is going to be beautiful. Perfect. So there you go. Now I know what it is. It's 2 cups, 2 cups, 2 cups, and 1 can. There we go. That is absolutely perfect. So if you can kind of see this, it's the kind of thing you're going to want to press down into your pan. Kelly, did you answer me about the food processor? No, she's not. Okay, so I'm still waiting to know if I can just put parchment paper here. I think I can. I don't think there's any reason why I can't do that. I would like that better. Of course, then I'll ruin a batch because it'll all have paper stuck to the bottom of it. But let's try it. Let's try it and see how it works. Okay, so here's this guy. And how much too big is he for my pan? Not much, too much. Let's do this. Let's do this. That's too big. There we go. So now it's up on the side. That seems good. I would like for this to roll the other way. All right. I think I've got it here pretty well. Let's see what happens. Stay. Don't be going crazy here. That seems right. All right. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to put a little of it here in this pan. Okay. Don't fall. Don't fall. There we go. Okay. There we go. Let's see what happens when we just roll it right out onto the pan. Roll. Oh, let's see. This is an easier hold for me. And now, there we go. There we go. There we go. I've got about half of it on the pan. And let's see where my pressing goes, how much I get in here. And you really want to press it pretty tight. You don't want it to be loose and fluffy. You want it to be dense and mucky. We're going to cook this for 20 minutes-ish at 375 in the oven. You'll know it'll get a crust like a brownie, and so you'll know when they're done. And like I said, don't forget when they come out of the oven to score them with your bench press, or your bench scrape, sorry, bench press, that's funny. And then let them cool. And when they're cool, then then you can cut them the rest of the way through. And again, make them small, like the size of the 2-bite brownies you get at Whole Foods. That's all you want them to be. Okay, let's see how we're doing with my pressing. Whoops, whoops, whoops. Here we go. This is great. I already like the parchment paper better than the pan. All right, I need a little something to scrape this off so I don't lose any delicious batter. Here we go. This is just amazing. It's so good. It's super, super kid-friendly. Kids love this stuff. Right? Who doesn't like sugar, nuts, and I guess the nuts could be a problem, right? For those poor tree nut people, but other than that, okay. There we go. Getting this pressed down really, really nicely. This is the biggest, really the biggest part of it is to get these pressed down and even so that in the corners you've got the same depth. Now, I have a little bit of problem here that I've got not as much parchment paper on this end. So I'm going to make a little cheat piece because I do not want to lose this end of sticky. Let's see, do I have a scissor still? I have a scissor still. Take this and just slip that under there so that I don't have that edge exposed. There we go. And I can probably there we go. Now I can fill this pan up to the edge because my paper goes to the edge. Excellent. And now the last little bit out of this bowl into here. And I'm so pleased to see that this 2 cup 1 can is exactly the right size for a quarter pan. This is a quarter pan, just in case you're not clear and you can't see the dimensions of my things on here. I'm not going to eat that. I'm not going to eat the sugar. Okay, there can we use a little bit more in this corner up here, just to get them even. A little bit more down in this corner. And here we go. Drag a little bit here, and we are looking good. Okay, these will puff up a little in the oven, but voila, this is what you got when you're done. And we're just going to put those in, like I said, when it looks like a brownie is done. See, there's nothing in here to cook, right? Everything's cooked, so you're not waiting for flour or eggs or butter or all that to combine. You're just letting them puff up and melt together and incorporate that Eagle brand milk, sweetened condensed milk, incorporate all together. They're amazing. But again, a little goes a long, long way. And I've been making these since I was a kid. I don't even know where the recipe came from, so I can't credit it. But there you go. So that's step 1 at my house. I know lots of y'all are cookie bakers. But I'm lazy because I don't really like to eat sweets. So when I make sweets, I want it to be simple and easy. And that, my friends, is simple and easy. So here, I said that I found a little thing about putting something good that happened to you each week into a jar and having something then to share with your guests at New Year's. That would be a moot point this year because there wasn't that many great things that happened each week. And who's going to have guests at New Year's? But I also found this, and I thought, oh my gosh, I can't believe that I misplaced this. But it's exactly what cooking in quarantine is about. And I think that I probably printed that out at the same time that I printed out the put good things in the jar thing. So it says, think positively. How hard is that, right? You know, it just elevate the thought process and you're going to be doing better. Exercise daily. Eat healthy. what more is cooking in quarantine about than using good food to nourish your soul and your body so you stay out of the hospital system, which I read today is at the breaking point. Work hard. Whatever you do, whatever you're doing, do your best to do it well, and it will give you a sense of personal pride and accomplishment. Stay strong, right? Exercise. If you exercise daily, you're going to stay strong physically. And if you think positively, you're going to stay strong mentally, right? Doesn't it all work out? Worry less. Oh my gosh. I say to people all the time, worry is the most worthless of emotions, because I can worry all I want and it's not going to do anything except put negative energy out into the universe, and it's not going to have any positive or any impact, not positive or negative, except that you're going to be negative. So stop with the worrying. It doesn't help at all. Think positively about a situation that's a challenge, but don't worry about things that you have no control over. Just stop. Worry causes cortisol to build up in your blood system, and cortisol causes belly fat. And there's no woman I know who's looking for more belly fat, right? So worry less. Dance more. There's that old saying, you know, do this, do that, and dance like nobody's watching. I would like for every one of you, when I sign off, to turn on one of your favorite songs and just shake your groove thing for a little while. I promise you, you'll feel better. What's next? Love often. Well, if you are a decent person, you know that the whole point of life is to learn to love yourself the way God loves you, and then to love the whole world in that same manner. So that's another challenge for you right after you dance and you're feeling good. And finally, just be happy. Being happy is literally a choice. You can choose to be bitter and unhappy, or you can choose to be positive and happy. So be happy. Don't worry. Be happy. That should be my song, my theme song, and I swear somebody's driving down my street playing reggae at the top of it. So you guys, that's all I have to say today. Thank you for being here with me. Sorry I didn't get home from PT in time to kind of straighten my hair out or anything, but it's what I do. Pardon me. I love you. Come back tomorrow and see what we're doing. We're going to be, like I'm the royal we. I'm going to be adding some wine classes weekly. So things like in the next couple of days, we're going to talk about what kind of wine do you need to buy for your Christmas table. American holidays are traditionally real challenge because we love to put sweet and savory on the same plates. So we'll talk about that in the next few days. So thank you guys for being here. Thank you guys for coming back even after I took an unannounced week off. So love to you all. My Claritin is kicking in. Thank you guys. Same time tomorrow. Connie, I'm so glad that's what you needed, and I'm glad that you got what you were looking for. That's why I do it. Thank you. Ciao, guys.